you're looking at this Scrimshaw fairy tale happen in front of you as this version of Chine begins to run through the woods. And I think what begins to happen first is that the things depicted in the Scrimshaw begin to change. The trees turn into an iron gate, and then they turn into a stone wall, and then they turn into objects, loose objects. Like at one point they turn into fish, just kind of like floating around, and you're running through a school of fish. They turn into corn stalks. They turn into, and maybe they stay there for a moment, since I know we talked about your garden being important to you as like that being kind of key to your origin as a cleaver, is kind of planting some stuff maybe you shouldn't have planted. It's like the teeth that you planted. It's like the stalks of whatever the teeth plants were that grew. And then other things start to change, like you and some other background details, right? Like there's clouds in the Scrimshaw, and those switch from being clouds to being waves, and they switch from being waves to being, bread. And then the Scrimshaw sketch of you changes to be more animalistic in the way that we know you can change, but that change continues until you go from being the version of you that you are into being, a full-on shrew, right? Like you shrink in size until you're a little shrew, and then that figure grows until it's a kind of like a huge gorilla, moving on all four limbs, and then turns into something else, something chimeric in nature. It's hard to even make out where various limbs end and begin. And this continues to happen until color begins to fade in. It's as if these teeth have been dyed, and suddenly everything has this very bright, vibrant look. And it's as if you're holding in your hand these teeth that are glowing bright colors, and you're looking at the story that's happening there. And then finally, the teeth themselves, the bone and tooth structure that the Scrimshaw is built into, change. First, they become something familiar to you, orange, like the peel of an orange, like the oranges from the basement of the abbey, the underground chapel, and then they change again. And now the material is wood. It isn't Scrimshaw at all. It's wood, and then it's paper and ink. And suddenly it's like, if this is a story about change, you realize even the medium that stories are told in changes. There is no singular thing. That you can't even count on the grammar of or the medium to remain the same. Until finally the object itself loses the story, and all it is this thing that's changing rapidly again and again and again. In fact, even your hand that you're looking at these teeth in begins to change shape. And you have found it. You have found this thing. And finally, I think, and maybe this is influenced psychologically by the fact that you're coming back from going through a portal to a lake, but your hand, the teeth, the story, they all turn into water and various forms of water. It melts away like a river flowing from a faucet, from a small stream growing in strength and size. You see the roof flooded. The roof that you're sleeping on begins to flood in your mind. You can't tell if you're dreaming or not in this moment. Blackwick sinks under the water as the water rises, and you have found it. You have found the heart, the truth of the heartland. This is the course, and it is sharp and clear in your mind that this is the thing that calls to you.